G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens for the final regular round season of 2024. It's been a wild ride, but here we are, Timbo. How are you, mate?
Yeah. I'm good, Roo. I was better until you started carrying on like yourself.
That's getting real intimate over there.
Oh boy,
There's some gross vibes out of that cut, wasn't there?
You should have seen us last night.
Yeah.
We got stuck in.
Yeah, I did want the trophy, but now I'm less inclined to say I want it.
Don't worry, not a problem you're going to have, mate. Cat, though, on the other hand, I reckon you might be a threat for the trophy next year. Two-horse race, you and me.
I've not. It's been a pretty good start to my SuperCoach adventure, I think. But am I still the rook next year when it's not my first year?
That's the big question. Are we still going to run with the rook? I tend to say yes, but I'm open to discussion.
I feel like maybe if she finishes like 4 digits, if she finishes in the top 10K, maybe she sheds the rook tag.
I rate that actually.
Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I'm sure you would be in rugby league, but second year syndrome, a big thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be a worry.
Yeah, but like you're suggesting that I've made the equivalent of the top 8 or something, and I absolutely haven't. So.
I'm not. All I'm saying is that second year syndrome, sometimes you can have a good first year.
Is this a good first year?
We'll know next year, won't we?
Yeah.
What if you're 60,000th next year?
True. I've set the bar at 22,000.
I would hope you would be into that top 20K, 10K, if not the top 1K.
Me too.
But yeah, second year syndrome. It's taken many. Who's the biggest second year syndrome you can think of?
I mean, just straight off the top of the head, up until his last month, I was going to say Dream Buller. He was getting some serious second year syndrome, but prior to getting injured, he had a really good month of footy, so I'll let him off the hook.
Who's your all-time? I've got a name in mind that I think is the ultimate second-year syndrome. He was a halfback.
Tim Smith?
Tim Smith, yeah. It's probably who I think of when I think second-year syndrome. I think Leon Bott had a bit of second-year syndrome too.
Leon Bott.
How good.
Is there anyone that had a really good second season that we could also bring up in this conversation or...?
Harder to remember, I'm not going to lie. Very, very tough to remember. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Kathmandu goes next year. How'd you go this week, big dog?
I want to say I towed you up, but I actually haven't checked the scores. So I feel like it's got Guru Ambush written all over it where you've actually beaten me in updates and then you're going to come back and say, yeah, good one, dickhead. But I think I beat you.
Funnily enough, this week, I beat you by 1 point before updates. No, sorry, you beat me by 1 point before updates. And after updates, you actually beat me by 1.2. It was weird. We changed by like 15 or 16 points. You still beat me by 1.
I needed that. I did.
You did.
I really did.
You
It hasn't been a lot of dubs this year for the Stallions, so look, I'll take everything I can get.
No, it was a good comeback. It was like it's like sticking a bit of food dye in like a dam or something and seeing the impact it has. But you had a red hot crack, which I appreciate.
Just closing that gap.
Yeah. What did you score, Kathmandu? You made some big moves on the rankings this week.
Yeah, huge. Speaking of really notable performances, I moved up a total of 8 spots this week.
8.
You know, all that matters is green. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you see green and you're happy, but 8 spots.
Kat, there's been enough tough weeks this season that if it's a small bit of green, you take it and you enjoy it.
I don't care if it's a 1-digit green, I'll take it.
No, take it. I went down 80 spots this week, which wasn't ideal, but I did miss out on some of those real big dog scorers like your Dill Browns of the world and whatnot. Probably ended up getting a really good captain play on Zach Lomax. That
absolutely broke. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back because I was like, and credit to you, you gave me the slightest opening by doing that and going a unique captain because initially I was like, oh, you go Ponga as planned. And then he got moved to centre and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, we know he doesn't score as well at centre as on the wing. He was on 13 at half time. And then there was an injury and he moved to the wing and he decided to score like 110 in the second half. And I was like, that was just my year. It was like you just get the little twinkling of light and then it just gets ripped out from underneath you.
Who did you captain, Timmy?
I went Teddy.
Okay,
so my
what did
season,
Teddy update to? What was
104.
104. My season has gone from blaming captains, which I can't anymore. I've had a really good like probably 2 months of captains in saying that.
We turned that around pretty well.
We turned it around in saying that everyone's just been captaining Ponga, Teddy, Turbo, and they've all just gone ballistic every week. So it's not exactly made up ground. My new excuse is sit v starts have killed me.
Yeah.
I sat Nickera a couple of weeks ago for his ton and played like a Marju or someone for 30. This week I sat Ruben Garrick really early on in the round. He was coming up against the left edge defence of the Doggies, which is the best defensive edge in the NRL. And I thought, all right, going to be a tough encounter, big game for both sides. And Garrick, to his credit, 132. So I sat him and fortunately balanced out by D-Bags, Dylan Brown. But yeah, anyway, that's the year.
Yeah, that was really dumb of you.
I'm aware.
Can I just quickly shout out Sean Lane, who I've just held this entire season and he got me 100 points over the weekend.
That's fucked.
Little Lane train.
Well, he made up for the fact that I captained Turbo, who scored 65. So
shout out for you, Kat, to Ben Hunt for pushing him to the try line. put him on his back and carried him and dropped him over.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of guys this week that have sort of become a little bit relevant at the back end of the season that would have been sitting on people's benches all year. I've noticed Drew Hutchinson jumped in at 5'8". My man, Simi Sasangi, he's the form back row of the competition right now. 72 on the weekend.
Surely you're playing him.
I won't, but I'll tell you what, I'm not many injuries away from playing him. He's closer than he should be. I guess, Timbo, that's the other big talking point this week, injuries. Couple of rests, not any huge relevant restings for the back end of the season, but Fafita out, Sammy Walker, Tom Trbojevic will test people's depths. Do you think there's going to be many people running around with sub-17 this week?
There definitely will be. I've spoken to a few people, but I was saying last on the Playbook potty that really fortunate how it's worked out that for the last couple of weeks where you traditionally get your restings, second through till about 13th have all had something to play for. So there's been no need for restings at all, except for the Storm, of course, last week. And like that's a great example that the Storm, who were playing for nothing the last 2 weeks with the minor premiership sewn up, they mass rested. This week, second through till sort of 10th, 11th, whatever, are all playing for something still against. They can't really rest. And even the way that games have panned out, where they sit in the round, there's still going to be no rest. Like if Penrith played before the Roosters and won, there could have been restings, vice versa, lots of things. So it's panned out really well. Still a lot of carnage, but more from the injury suspension sense rather than the resting as such.
I'll tell you what, one guy that did get rested this week that I know there wouldn't be many of you out there, but I'm sure there'll be some of you listening. Daniel Tupou, who scored 100 last week. If you're in the 1.3% of the top 5% that own him as a pod play, fuck, I feel for you.
You'd be filthy that he's the only one.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That's so shit.
With a match up against the Bunnies.
I would be absolutely beside myself. But shout out to Daniel Tupou, won me my draft game on the weekend. I'll tell you what, and I assume they are watching, if Walt Disney's out there and would like to make a movie about my draft season, come find me. We've got the draft this weekend. We're doing Remember the Titans. We're doing a training camp at Gettysburg this week. We're bringing the boys together and we're taking on an SC Playbook faithful.
Yeah.
Heavenly Hands Hevner.
I'll be riding Heavenly Hands big time in this one. When was your last draft title?
2016. It's been a while. I've lost 3 grand finals in that time, and I'm getting a little bit nervous about this week. But if I win this one, I'll be the first one to have 3 comps in our comp, so it's a big one.
You've been saying that for 8 years, though.
I have been. That's correct. Yes. Yeah. So big week incoming for the Rancho Relo Maxo. All right. Should we rip and tear into some... Oh, actually, let's see who got our player of the week this week. Now, guys, do remember that whoever tops Beers and Breakevens, they're getting $5,000 from Blue Wealth Property, our major sponsors for season 2024. They're getting $1,000 dues from me and Timbo. And that's it, $6,000, yeah?
I think they put up the $500 club membership thing as well.
I would assume so. And if they don't, we're gonna put Tony in a headlock and we're gonna force him to do it.
Generally has a no Parramatta Eels clause though.
Yes, which is
Eels members doesn't count.
Fair and warranted, especially if you win a spoon this week. So as it stands right now, Blake, who you got on the Mick DeVeers with a couple of weeks ago, he's still leading. Bryce's boys, what's he in front by?
240. 2.
What do you reckon? Home? Actually, no, don't say that.
No, he's not home, and I would never curse the poor bugger. He's in a comfortable position but he's not home. We know how quickly Supercoach can change.
Yeah, it can all move very, very quickly. So
we know how quickly your strike centre in your team can do his ACL in the first game with around 10 minutes into it.
You're still holding on to that, are you?
Oh,
I would be too, don't worry.
Especially
I'm still holding on to it for you.
Yeah, especially this year because my team's gone poorly. I'm like, I've got to hold on to something, don't I?
So, yeah, Blake and Bernard going head-to-head. So do you think it's out of those two? Do you think third place is out of it? He's another 115 behind second, so he's about 300 behind Blake. Do you reckon it's 1 and 2?
How good your maths going? He's 16 behind second. Third.
No, he's not. So second is 31,940.
No, you're looking at beers and break-evens.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Our comp, sorry. Yeah.
Overall. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's third overall, not in there, not in beers and break-evens. Oh, they're not. We've only got 1, 2, and 5. So third and fourth aren't
Interesting because Playbook I checked last night, it has 1, 3, and 4.
Really?
What, Beers has got 1, 2, and 5?
Yeah.
What?
You idiots. It's free money. What are you doing? That's wild.
It's cool though. At least we can, if that top 5 stays the same, between Playbook and Beers, we can claim we've got the top 5 overall.
So is Blake the only one of the top 5 that's in both?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So you've got 1, 3, and 4. I've got 1, 2, and 5 over here.
Yeah.
That's fucking idiots. Anyway, whatever.
That's brilliant.
Is it possible so it's possible for different people, for us to send money different places? That'd be cool.
That's mental.
Wild. Shout out to Oj, who was the top scorer of our group this week, 1,633, bringing his rank to 23,000. Send an email with your address, mate. The last one, beers and breakevens at gmail.com, and we'll get that hat and football out to you very soon, along with the winners over the last few weeks. Send them all
I
at
can't
one.
wait to get the emails and see that the prize winners from Antarctica and Iceland and bloody some tiny little village in Kenya.
Someone from Mars that top scored in round 23. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Send an email, brother, and we'll keep a close eye on those top scorers this week. What would you do with 50K if you won it? I'd buy a new co-host. They knew what they were fucking doing. That's what I'd do.
Oh, bloody hell. Kick him in while he's down.
In.
I would.
I'd kick you when you were standing up, to be fair.
This is why you get bullying accusations.
Yeah. If I go to Guru Human Resources.
You're already here, buddy.
Yeah. No, she's sitting down over there.
Yeah, she's over here. Don't worry. It's all noted, Timmy.
All right.
Bullshit. All right.
Now, before you move on, we do have one update that's necessary this week, which is the About Even League.
Ooh.
Would you like to know who won?
Yeah. Would it be me?
Please don't.
Did I win?
Guru.
The Guru Grizzlies won.
Oh.
So we actually just ran into Cody out. Well, sorry, he ran into us because he's the one actually running.
Yes, he ran into us.
Yeah. So he's on his run and he just messaged me and said he was at a festival over the weekend and he forgot to update his team. But the margins were small. You won with 1,240 points. Cody, 1,203. So there were only 37 points in it.
Oh, love that.
Forgot to update his team.
Is his name Cody? I've been calling him Coward this whole time. Can't wait to see him.
That's just so low, man.
Hey, when you win the trophy, come on now.
Just let your actions
I'll tell you what, Cody was dominating for most of that season. He was
good.
He's had some great scores.
He had a better score than me for the vast majority of it. He had more trades up his sleeve. I reckon, and I could be wrong, but I reckon Cody's gone to the festival and he's finished with, I reckon he's still got 3 or 4 trades left.
That'd be brilliant.
I'm pretty confident that's what happens.
We can probably find out. But
I'll find out today.
There you go. That is the About Even update. You won.
How good. Love to see that. Now, I also have something that I want to bring up.
Oh, here we go.
Which you're not going to like.
Shock.
And I think you've forgotten about. Now, Kat.
Lomax v Manu?
Now, it's got to do with your Canberra Raiders. Do you remember what we spoke about?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Is it about me?
Yeah. Do you
no,
want to
you tell it. You tell it. Because I'm not gonna do it correctly.
Okay. Kat, what year were you born?
1994.
1994. What day were you born?
On the 30th of September.
Okay. You know the last time the Canberra Raiders won a premiership was about 2 days before Kat was born? I think she's the curse. You guys haven't won a premiership since Kat's been alive.
And you know what else? We won that premiership like 4 or 5 months after I was born.
Yeah, you know who you beat in that grand final? The
Doggies.
Bulldogs, who Kat
No.
says she doesn't go for, but she definitely does.
Cat!
I think she's the curse.
We had a good thing going.
I mean, it's the connection to the Canberra Raiders I didn't know I had.
I love it.
So
I think it's dead set.
Yeah, it's all...
So basically, as long as I'm on this earth,
Yeah, I don't know
the
if you're a
Raiders
big
will
like
not
witchcraft guy, but
Well, when I messaged Ricky Stewart and let him know that Cat's the curse, and then she goes missing the next day... might get an unexpected visit from Corey Horsburgh and Josh Papali'i.
she might wake up washed up on that lake down there.
Yeah.
What is it? Lake Burleigh?
Lake Burleigh, Lake George, whichever one you want to call it.
Which one's the main one, the big dog one?
Lake George is a big one coming into Canberra. Lake Burleigh's in Canberra.
Lake Burleigh, I think I'm thinking
Yeah.
of.
I'm so glad that we could work out which lake I'm going to wash up on. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys. Far
Get
out.
what you deserve. All right, let's go through team list for this week. Thursday, Broncos, Storm, 7:50 am, Suncorp Stadium. For the Bronx, no Haas, Stags, Willison, Pearcura. Walsh is on the extended. Mariner moves back to centre. For the Storm, they're essentially 1-17 without Ryan Pappenhausen. So a far longer at fullback. Money has been named at 6. I thought there was Sniff. He might get rested this week. Wishy at 14. Coates on the extended. I think, Timbo, the Melbourne Storm could win this one by 40 plus.
Agreed.
I think they
It's one of
absolutely
them,
give it to them.
It's one of them ones where, like, Broncos at home playing for pride. In theory, they could get up for it. And if it had just been a poor season by footy standards, like, maybe they can. But with all the shit coming, like being reported off field and sort of blow ups left, right, and centre, I just think they're looking at Mad Monday. And the Storm fully fresh. I think the Storm, go 40 to 50 as well.
Yeah, Bellamy will have them up for this one. Friday, Spoon Bowls, 6 p.m. at Campbelltown. Heath Mason at fullback, Felity in the centre, Caesar at 7. No other major changes for the Tigs. Kelma Tuolangi returns on the edge for Parramatta. Anything in that game, mate?
No.
No. We've then got the late game, Rabbitohs v the Chooks, Hawkins at 7, Walker at 6. Nothing else major for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. For the Roosters, Daniel Tupu has been rested, as we said. Palga comes in, Stuart Lee at centre, Tilly on the edge, White in jersey 13. I'll tell you what, if anyone out there still has White from mid-season there, I doubt they would. I reckon he's going to score well this week. He's in the draft side. Wong's on the bench. Keep an eye on Va'a, who's coming off the bench. Big front rower. He's sort of gone from jersey flag to first grade this year. He's got a brother as well, who's on the extended bench too. These guys are going to have big futures, and they'll be guys we'll be talking about SuperCoach over the next few years. So
Yes.
keep an eye on the big bits of gears.
White, 2.5% ownership amongst the top 10% overall. So there
Play
you go.
him this week.
Get into it.
Yeah. Super Saturday, Dragons, Raiders, 3 p.m. Net Strata, Jubilee Stadium. That name just still not sit well with me. Dragons, Burden Sully in the centres, Lomax on the wing, Little returns at 9, Mulheisen in jersey 14. For the Raiders, KO Weeks at fullback, Jamal Fogarty in the 7 again, and Simi Sasangi. Oh boy. On the edge. How good.
Yeah, look, the way you're going, I was waiting for you to say, I was looking at sub-17 players this week, but then Simi got named and I had to play him and he scored 4 tries.
Hey, Fogarty, you reckon he plays this week?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Hamstring niggle. So, I mean, I guess the thing about the hammy is if it's touch and go and he goes and plays and he does it in a game that, we need a draw between the Knights and Dolphins to be any hope, and he hurts and he's out for 8 weeks, the off-season doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
Might impact his holidays a little bit, but probably plays.
I have Fogarty and Brad Schneider in draft. Who should I play? Schneider against the Titans?
Schneider for sure, especially with the hamstring. Regardless, I'd play Schneider, but with the hamstring concern for Fogarty, I think they'll towel up the
You don't
Blues.
think your Raiders get
Titans.
up for this one?
Well, they might, but I still prefer Penrith's matchup with the Titans, who they'll towel well and truly thrown in.
All right, 5:30 p.m. Bulldogs, Cowboys. For the Doggies, Critter returns at centre. Skelton's on the wing still. Hutcho comes in at 5'8" to replace Matty Burton there. For the Cows, they're essentially 1-17. Purdue jumps off the bench. Edwards comes in, but wouldn't be surprised to see that change on game day. Anything there, Timbo?
No, nothing too much. I think the only thing, we were talking a little bit about pre-show around your draft, but just the left edge of the Doggies changing. It's pretty SuperCoach significant just because I said that left edge of the Doggies been the best defensive edge in the NRL this season, and now Sherry gone, obviously, from that one, and Burton. Very different looking.
Yeah, things change a little bit there. And I would also say with Critter coming back in on that right edge for the Doggies, wouldn't be surprised if he shuts down Val Holmes this weekend just quietly.
Val Holmes for teams with depth. Again, the way my ears are, I'm going to say this, he's going to score 150, but he becomes a sittable option.
Oh, big call. Panthers Titans, 7:35 p.m. from out there at Penrith. For the Penny Panthers, Scotty Sorensen returns on the edge. Dane Laurie's on the extended. I know I've been saying it for 3 weeks straight, but fuck me. Can someone give Dylan Edwards a chair to sit on for a couple of hours? He just looks absolutely cooked to me.
Why does he need to play this game? Why
did he need to play last week?
Give him a week off.
Yeah.
Get his body right. Unless it's literally just a case of he can't do any more damage and it's not getting any better or something. I mean, even so, just give the bloke a break. But maybe that's the case. Does he play? Dane Laurie's on the extended bench. We'll see. But he would be like the number one trade target this week, especially with Tommy Turbo injured, if he was fit and firing. But yeah, I mean, if he does drop out, Dane Laurie becomes a massive play.
He's my number one play, Dane Laurie, if he gets it for the third week in a row.
Yeah.
For the Titans, Keeney returns at 1, Randall and Haas on the edge, no Fafita. I actually haven't heard why this is. Injury, do we know, or is he just called her a day?
I reckon big year for him, hasn't missed many games at all, probably called a day.
Yeah.
His ownership, he would be huge. Just getting up at top 10% overall, most owned player at 93.8% ownership.
How good.
And that's probably a handful of trade outs as well. So that is the big one this week.
Yeah.
I was actually going to sit him outside my 17 this week before he got ruled out. So not too concerned.
Sunday, we've got the Seagulls and the Sharkies at Brookie at 2 p.m. Turbo, obviously, out of this one. Saab gone as well. Cole has been named at 1. Clayton comes in on the wing. Lodge at prop. For the Sharkies, Ramian returns, as does Mulatalo. Atkinson in jersey 14 there. Let's have a look at the Knights and the Finn, 4:05 p.m. McDonald Jones Stadium. Myself and Kat will be up there for this one. Frizzell has returned on the edge. Tyson Gamble in jersey 14. Kaipis Paul on the extended bench. Mate, even if KPP gets into this side, I think he's got to come off the bench.
He's not playing better footy than Dylan Lucas or Tyson Frizzell, put it that way. So I would absolutely be playing Kaipis Paul off the bench. And from a Knights perspective, I like it. I think Frizzell, Lucas, they're the two best back rowers in the club on the edge. And I think Kaipis Paul coming off the bench with a bit of X factor. I like it.
I like it. Yep. For the Dolphins, Jesse Bromwich starts in the front row. K Brom in jersey 13. Isaiah Cartoa has been dropped to the extended bench. Nick Arima and Jeremy Marshall-King on the bench there. I'll tell you what, if you're a Max Plath owner, Timbo, I'd be very happy with that bench there, just quietly.
Yes, maybe. Where do you see Cody Nikorima getting in? Well,
no fucking idea.
I mean, Marshall-King will come on obviously at 9. Plath will go into that middle role.
I just think with the other aging forwards in this side, I don't think Max Plath comes off the field this week. I think
in a game playing for the 8, you're probably right.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be good for him. Very jealous that I am not a Max Plath owner. Do you have Plath, Car? You don't have him. Another Savannah, do you, mate?
Nah.
That's wild. Anywho. Okay, that is our Team List Tuesday for this week. Now, Blue Wealth Property, as we said, they've put up $5,000 dues this year for the winner of the Beers and Breakevens comp. Guys, when you look across the entirety of SuperCoach, unless you're winning the number one overall, this is the most money you're going to win. So incredible stuff by Blue Wealth Property. We've thrown an extra $1,000 on top, so $6,000. The second biggest prize you can get, right?
Comfortably, I'd imagine. Yeah, I think you get $5,000 for runner-up, so we've eclipsed that by $1,500.
How good. Fucking fantastic. So shout out to Blue Wealth Property, guys. We've sold a few properties this year, which has been unreal to Beers and Breakevens people, which is earth-shattering to me, to be honest with you. I think we're selling houses here.
Yes, well, we're making dreams come true, Roo.
We certainly are.
The great Aussie dream.
We should make a few more dreams come true in this room, just quietly.
We should.
A couple of good SuperCoach scores would be nice.
Oh, what I'd give just for one.
Just one.
Just one moment. Just one little 1,500 to finish the season. It'll mean nothing, but to everyone else, it'll mean something to me.
Yeah, 100%. So, guys, have a direct conversation with the Blue Wealth team about your situation and if investing in property is right for your wealth creation goals. Many Beers and Breakevens subscribers have connected with Tony, Mortz, and the team at Blue Wealth. And like Sam and Hannah, who we interviewed on the show a few weeks back, some have made the decision to invest in property and take control of their financial future. I'll tell you what, Sam and Hannah absolutely over the moon when they came in. Very, very happy with their decisions. Tony's team will chat through in detail what Blue Wealth do, how they identify great property to invest in, but more importantly, get to understand your situation and work out a plan of attack. There is a link in the description, guys, if you would like to organise a discovery call and talk with the team, obviously free of charge and everything, so you can jump on there. Just get an idea of where you're at, where you could be. It might be information that you use today, tomorrow, or in a few years' time. Whenever you do use it, it will be very, very handy with Blue Wealth Property. And make sure you tell them Beers and Breakevens sent you.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And as we sort of get towards wrapping up the season, of course, in coming weeks, we'll be doing our team reviews, putting people under the microscope and absolutely just tearing each other to shreds. We'll be doing that through final series. But throughout the finals, throughout the off-season, all that, if you do need to have this conversation, want to get in contact with them, get involved in any webinars or any of that, just get in contact with us and we can steer you in the right direction.
100%, yeah. We can send you the link and everything there. So shout out to the boys for their support this year. As I said, we've got a few more episodes to go this year where we'll be politely, absolutely giving it to each other. So we'll give a few more shout outs, but cheers to the boys. All right. Now, Tim's stats deep dive.
You made that one really hard to echo with you.
I want echoes, not excuses.
You're on one today.
I'm in the echo business. Not
That trophy has gotten to your head.
It does every single year.
Yeah.
And
Timmy,
it will next year.
Timmy, my thoughts are with you right now.
Yes.
Now, your deep dive this week, normally we have about 4 players. You've got about 1,000 on here. And you still don't have my pod play for this week.
Yeah, you know what's funny is, like, I generally base these off the back of the deep dives I do in my team's analysis of a Tuesday, and that's been getting smaller and smaller as I run out of faith in the world.
Fall into a depth of madness.
Yeah. And I was like, do we replace the stat deep dive with something else this week? And then all of a sudden I just sort of got on one and found some good shit. I'm like, no, you know what? We're back.
I like that. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Ready, Kat?
Let's do it.
Tim's stats deep dive. Herbie Farmworth, player of the week. The menu log, hungriest player of the week. My man was starving last week, Herbie. Wayne moved him to right centre. No worries. I'll just go out there and absolutely fist the Broncos. Talk to me about Herbie. Takes on the Newcastle Knights this week.
Just the one that, probably more of a throw forward to 2025, this one, mate, but just the one that got away. And congratulations to anyone who jumped on, but he's always been a very good CT dub with really strong base, but has never really had the upside. But conversations going into round 1 next year, we've just got to completely rethink. He's gone into that elite tier. Do you know what he's averaging this season?
I don't. I'm about to click on his name, but I won't.
Guess?
I would guess. What did he score on the weekend? 175?
Yeah.
Okay. I reckon he's averaging 68.
74.
Wow, that's good.
I know. So he's averaging 74 with 35 in base. He hasn't scored under 40 all season.
Shit.
That was back in round 5 against, of all teams, the Tigers. He missed 4 games straight after that, so he may have even been injured in that game. But yeah, that was back in round 5. He's just hard to argue that he hasn't entered the elite tier of CT dubs. With scores like that and an average like that.
You know what? Before I looked at the stats and you started talking, I was about to say I think we're hyping up one huge score too much, but
we're not.
Consistently very good.
Unbelievable, yeah.
I like it. I think the talking point next year, though, mate, will be obviously the Dolphins without Wayne. Will be an interesting conversation. But numbers are numbers. Herbie's doing tremendous things. Okay, let's have a look at our next man, Cam Munster. Your mate. And I'll tell you what, I have not been scared of Cam Munster at any point this season, especially when you've owned him. I've thought, that's all right, that's sweet. This weekend is a little bit scary, but I do always remind myself, Cam Munster, when they tend to whitewash sides, sometimes you can take a bit of a backwards seat. What are you thinking this week?
another very much a throw forward to next year. And that game on the weekend with all their stars out, the Storm had no right to really be in that game, and Munster to score well. We know he turned up or got very close to it. Just moving into next year, he'll probably be at a decent price because he hasn't scored that well this year, and people will be tempted by him. Just with Harry Grant and Jerome Hughes in the team, in particular Jerome Hughes, he just doesn't get the touches. And it's just the dynamics changed. And whilst Jerome Hughes is in there, I just don't think I can really be touching him. And the numbers back it up in recent weeks on a relatively small sample size. But in the 2 weeks prior to last with Grant and Hughes in the team, again, this is more so Jerome Hughes, but he had 32 and 36 receipts, touches of the ball. On the weekend against the Cowboys with them boys out, 57. He almost doubled it. So I'm really fascinated to see how many he gets this week and how many touches he has. But in a game they should be winning easily with those boys back, if that sits around the 30 to 40 again, it'll be just another addition to that sample size where you go, he just doesn't get a lot of ball with him.
Do you feel like, and the numbers might prove me wrong or whatever, I'm just going off vibe, I even feel like I thought Hughesy was absolutely killing it and it was just him on his own. Like, I tend to be less keen on Hughes. This week is the exception because I think the matchup's so good, but I tend to be less keen on Hughes when he's got Munster with him as well.
Definitely. And look, there was a really good, I think Munster came back roughly around 2021. Hughes from that point, after he had 3 tons in 5 games before that and a low score of 78, when Munster returned, he went 25, 60, 66, 66, 64. Then he went bonkers on the Dolphins with 132. But again, there's sort of 5-6 game sample size, not as good with Munster there because Munster takes quality ball off him.
Yeah. All right, our next man we've got for feeder. Are we talking David or Jojo variety?
Talking David, and this another, again, sort of a throw forward to next year, and it was before teams came out as well originally. But just having a look at it, back-to-back scores of 41 and 42. Very quick one here, but if Jaden Campbell's the 5'8" inside him next year, you can't go near him. Like, his scores with Jaden Campbell had been terrible. In recent weeks, granted, the Titans have been awful, and Fafita looks like he threw in the towel about a month ago. After what was a really good year, like rugby league-wise, the last 5 weeks, 41, 42, 77, 65, 59. What the hell happened? I don't know where it's gone, but I had a good stat around this. Anyway, it was something like he'd scored prior to round 22, he'd scored over 80 in something like 10 of 12 games, and his low scores were like a 52 and then 71 and then just fell off the map. Next year, if Jaden Campbell's is 5'8", can't touch him. Next year, if Kieran Foran's is 5'8" on the left edge, I'll probably buy him straight away.
Yeah, must have.
It's that much of a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, we'll see in the preseason what's going on there. Personally, if I was coaching them, I would have Foran next to him every day of the week. I can't believe they went from getting the absolute best footy out of the most destructive back row in rugby league because of one factor, and they moved it. It's
incredible.
Wild to me. Crazy. All right, let's move. Oh, the Penrith attack. Here we go. This is such a head fuck to me. There's one guy that's very appealing to me in this backline this week that I've got one big eye on as a potential pod play. He's not my guy, but I'm very close to doing it. He'd be my second choice. I love the look of Brandy Alamotti this week. Very into him.
Brandy Alamotti?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Really?
Yeah. I found out the other day. Brandy. Don't know why.
So the Panthers, I have no idea where to go for them in terms of SuperCoach players. Forwards are a bit different because they're consistent, but when you look at backs, all year you just go, I want Penrith players, but who? And like, mate, we both do punting podcasts and we look at try scores and you go, I've no idea who to
I don't do it anymore.
I don't touch them because the halves keep changing, granted through injury, but then even when there are injuries, it'll be Cole or it'll be Schneider, and that changes the dynamic again. Then they'll change to Taruva and Toto edges on a whim out of nowhere based on matchups. And like last week, Toto moved to the right edge and you go, sweet, we sort of spoke about it and we thought that was probably the better edge to be on. Taruva gets a double on the left, Toto none on the right. It is so difficult. And one thing that I have found with them is that they're just they're very dominant through the middle. Now, Give me your thoughts on it. Something's going on wrong here. I cannot bloody find my stats. Anyway,
look, guys, the wheels have fallen off. The Stallions, they are just in all sorts. They're headed for the glue factory and they're stumbling their way there.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I've got it. We're back. Sorry. So the Panthers, we know they like to play that unders footy where the halves crab across field and bring their back rolls or their centres underneath. It's always back through the middle corridor. So I had a little bit of a look into it. They score the second most tries of any team in the competition through the middle corridor with 23. The Dolphins are number 1 with 24. And you look at that and go, they're not traditionally like most teams do their damage on the edges and score edge. They don't. It's through the middle. Their back rows score a few. And that ties into, it's just hard to pick edge players for them.
The only team that scores more tries through the middle than the Panthers is the Dolphins. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
The Dolphins missing their 2 best front rowers for the entire season. They're missing their hooker for weeks. That's bizarre.
24 to 23. It's probably again, thinking off top of the melon, but probably a bit of a credit to Jeremy Marshall-King. And I know he's missed a chunk recently, but if it's off the back of his work around hooker, I don't know, But
I don't even feel like JMK's been like he's been good this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he hasn't had like a fucking hooker of hooker seasons or anything.
Nah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one, isn't it? So, like, I look at this week and I go, I want to get Penrith players for this matchup with the Titans. I think it's probably the best matchup of the week, that one, and probably the Storm Broncos. But where do you go?
Can I ask a question? And I don't want to debunk any of your stats or anything. I'm just genuinely interested.
Good.
You know when we see stats of where teams score down the left, the right, middle, whatever, is that based of like where they cross the try line or is it based of where they put the ball down?
I don't know. I get mine from Stats Insider website. Really good website.
Very keen to see.
Yeah, and it
must be where they cross the try line, right?
Surely, because they're like going little runs.
I don't know about that because when wingers come in and put it under the post, that wouldn't go down as a middle try.
That's what I'm saying, that they don't, right?
I reckon it'd come down to like right edges from your back rower out. And anything in between is your hooker.
Where
props.
they cross the try line or where they make the break or where they score?
Probably what position they're playing.
What position they're playing.
Yeah,
okay.
that's how I take it.
Yeah, I would assume so. I'm just...
Yeah, it would because when a winger runs in under the post, that's not a try through the middle corridor.
Interesting. I'd like to know exactly how they do it, if it's just the position or where the break is made
question.
or where they cross. It's cool. All right. Where were we? Penrith attack. Oh, Micah Sivo. 3 tries on the weekend. Looked dynamic. Good little matchup this weekend against the West Tigers. Is he back?
He never left.
He never left.
I mean, he did. He went to New South Wales Cup. But
Yeah, I tell you what, I watched him at Wentworth Park one day and respectfully to Sivo, he looked like a guy who couldn't give less fucks to me that day. And the way he's come back has been incredible.
Super pod play for the final game of the season. Comes up against the Tigers. He scored 15 tries in 10 games this year, 135 points on the weekend against the Dragons. He comes up against that Tigers edge defence. So that Tigers edge on the right is the equal second worst defensive edge in the competition, having conceded 50 tries this year. That is in line with the Rabbitohs left edge. Only Parramatta's left edge have conceded more, funnily enough, that Sivo's on with 52. So load up on those edges.
Hectic.
Yeah, it's great,
so
isn't
good.
it?
It's poetic.
Mate, Sivo, he could score another 3 this week.
Yeah. I tell you, I love Blaze this week too.
Yes, yeah.
I think he'll do well. All right, our last one and one of the biggest talking points of this week, a guy that you're very keen on. I seriously considered him. Sua Fa'alongo, one of the great CBAs of 2024. My guy's looking good.
Yes. So this ties into my trades, and I'm looking at getting Sua Fa'alongo into my team. A little bit of an underwhelming average when I had a look at games at fullback this season, averaging 62.5. Not bad, but not probably as good as you'd hoped. And I owned him through that period when he was starting, and he did a really solid job for me and had some good scores and whatnot. And I spoke about it last night. I really do think it comes down to that he doesn't get a lot of easy try assists like the best fullbacks do because his timing is just a little bit off as he learns the game and learns the role. When he does those sweeping plays out the back and he's as good as anyone at turning a 3-on-3 onto a 3-on-2 because of his footwork and his speed.
Yep.
But I think of like a Clint Gutherson type character, even like maybe Dylan Edwards, who when they sweep and do this, they get such easy try assists because their timing is perfect, their ball playing is perfect. Whereas Su'A is a very ball running dominant fullback at the moment. He'll learn the craft of ball playing, but it's not quite there yet. Nonetheless, I just think with this matchup with the Broncos, like we spoke about before, I think it's made for him. I don't think ball playing will come into it that much because he'll have that much space. I think there'll be a lot of line breaks. He'll be there in support a lot of the time. So I really like Su'A, and I'm looking at bringing him into my team for Casey McLean.
We spoke about it pre-show, Timbo, about how, he's sort of getting his timing right and even just where he's meant to stand and all that sort of stuff. And for me, mate, I would assume that would have something to do with him coming all the way through the Melbourne system. He probably hasn't spent that much time with elite halves and elite spines and all that sort of stuff coming through the juniors. Like normally that Thunderbolts team that plays in the Harold Matson SG Ball, they're not normally that great.
Yeah.
And I would imagine him coming through, the entire game plan of those teams would have been just get the ball to fucking
Just
Su'A.
give him the ball.
Give him the ball
run.
and just let him do his fucking thing.
Good call.
And you go and you have a look, even the highlights that I uploaded 2.5 years ago of him and shit, like a lot of it is just off a scrum, see you later sort of stuff. So it'll take him time, but the kid is just supremely talented.
Can't you just see him strolling over for 2 tries off scrums in this?
Yep.
Where they just give him the ball and he goes, catcher.
In the first 15 minutes.
Yes.
He could, he's a scary prospect this week.
He is. And he'll be fun to own for this game if nothing else.
100%.
What are you thinking, mate? Here we go.
All right.
I tried to guess it pre-show and I couldn't get it.
Okay, so do you want to have some final guesses, you guys, before we...
Yeah.
So
Any more
they've already
clues?
guessed... What?
Give us more clues. We don't even have a position.
I will be trading Turbo to him.
Yeah.
So you have Ponga.
I have Ponga, and I'll be trading Turbo to him. Now, I have got guys like Ruben Garrick, so it's a CTW or a fullback that I'll be bringing in. I don't think many people will be looking at this guy. You know what? I'll get his percentage up for you guys. Any other guess whilst I'm doing that, Timbo, of who my little pod player to finish the season is?
Gutho?
It is not Gutho. I did seriously consider Gutho, but it is not him.
Wait.
My pod player...
Trey Fuller?
It is Trey Fuller.
I like
I'm
it.
going to go Trey Fuller. Top 5%, he is owned by 0. So I'm going to go for Trey Fuller this week as my little pod player to finish the season.
I like it. And you're at the
try.
game.
Is he owned by 0 out of the entire thing? All coaches? No, sorry. So he's owned by 2,206 coaches. They must be coaches that dropped off mid-season. But in the top 5%, he's owned by no one. I'm going to go Trey Fuller. My draft season relies on Trey Fuller as well. I've got him in there.
Have you had him for a while?
I got him last week.
Oh,
I'll tell you what I'm considering in draft, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts, both of you. I am seriously considering I'll have Lomax as my VC. My captain choice this week, I've got Drinky as my first pick. Against the Bulldogs, though, I'm not convinced. I'm actually considering having Drinky as on my bench as my AE, and I'm considering captaining Trey Fuller on Sunday afternoon against Knights. I reckon Wayne's going to have him up in this game.
I very narrowly prefer Fuller to Drinky as a captain. I said, Dogs have the best defence in the NRL.
Yep.
That the edge defence changing will hurt them, but a massive, massive game. That game is that Friday night, the Doggies?
No, it's 5:30 Saturday.
Okay, so not a bad time slot.
My thinking is to Canterbury, after conceding 30 points for the first time this season, if Serrato gets stuck into them this week and says, let's make a statement, if I'm playing the Cowboys, you know who's the one motherfucker I'm shutting down? Drinky.
Yeah, yeah.
I reckon there's every chance they could keep him quiet this week.
Yeah.
They'll just do exactly what Manly did. They lost to a team that they think they should have beat
I think
and
they'll be
then
up.
have
Yeah.
a really strong game.
I'm hoping the arse has fallen out of Canterbury, but I don't think so. I'm seriously considering draft grand final, putting my number 1 pick on my bench just to see what happens because I think it makes sense.
That's gold.
It's fun. It's a good play.
I wouldn't say it's fun, Kat. But
It's fun if it's not you.
I'll give you the hot tip. For me, it's not fun.
It's really fun for me.
So if you captain Fuller, Drinky won't play for your draft team.
No, he will. He'll be my AE, so I will just drop because it's last round, so I can just mass drop everyone else.
Okay.
So I can watch what Drinky does. If he goes big, I can mass drop it like everyone else on my bench, which I'll do anyway. Even if it's Fuller, I drop everyone else.
So Fuller and Drinky both at fullback. Yeah, right. Okay.
I like Trey Fuller this week, and that obviously the 0% ownership is very appealing to me. So
Yeah.
I like the play.
Like it. You're going to captain him in Classic as well?
You know what?
Surely.
I'm gonna seriously consider it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Why not? I mean, yeah. At the same time, also like I'm fucking 5,000. I'd love to get into the 1,000. I don't think I can realistically.
You won't get into the 1,000, but a good week could sneak into the top 1%. Maybe what's that? 1,600.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. It's not 1%. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think even that's a long way.
Big
I
week.
need a lot of things to go my way, but I think I've got like a pottish enough team to maybe actually.
Yeah.
Like between
It can be
Ramey and
done.
Gagai and Trey Fuller, very low in ownership. If they all go gangbusters,
You add in people, a lot of teams out there would be depleted, no trades, battling for 17 in quality. Would be huge, but can be done.
yeah. I don't think Raymond's going to go nuts against Manly. Gagai's going to be marked by Hamiso, so it's not all going my way this week to make a big move. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Timbo. Like we spoke about it a lot this year, and obviously for both of us, but fuck, some of those captain choices in the first 12 weeks
Yeah, I would
really
say
cost us.
First about 16 weeks, we had shockers.
Shockers. I think I got the Val Holmes VC when he got like 150. Outside of that, my first few weeks were fucking atrocious, and Christ, we missed some big scores.
There were some big ones.
Some big ones that we really missed that really hurt us. What could have been?
Could be sitting
Is this your worst Supercoach season?
by 11,000 spots.
Yeah, fuck.
Last year I finished 4,000. That was my worst season.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
That's grim.
It's been a train wreck.
That is rough as guts. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking my trade will be at the moment. Other guys that are appealing to me, I love the Paul Alamotti move. I think Penrith could absolutely demolish the Titans this week. It's their last regular home season game at Penrith Park. I think they could give it to him. Paul Alamotti goal king and hitting them well too, just quietly. So Paul Alamotti I find very appealing. I don't mind the Gutho play. Saw Farlongo is obviously a great play. He's a bit like Reece Walsh to me. He just has to do a lot to score,
Very Walshy.
but they are going to do a lot. I'm confident of that.
Whilst they look similar, very different players, because it still blows my mind that Walsh doesn't average like 130 because he does have the ball playing and nails that more often than not. But you're right, like Farlongo said, because he doesn't get the easy try assists, he has to score flashy tries to score well.
Yeah.
I really like, if Farlongo wasn't available, I'd be going Brian Toto. Again, I don't know, it goes on at the edges, but I do know that provided he lines up on the right, he's going up against that left edge of the Titans. You know, Khan Pereira, Brian Kelly, Jaden Campbell's on that edge. It's probably going to be Chris Randall. I think he has a huge night as well.
I'll tell you who was the other one that I don't mind as a little pod play, mate. And I would never have the balls to do it, but I reckon he scores well this week. Heath Mason.
Yeah.
Tigers fullback. He's a little goer.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be like, fuck, I watched Parramatta last week, the 84 points in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a similar game here. And if Heath Mason can have his DNA on a few plays, he could do well. Once again, I wouldn't have the balls to do it. Don't get me wrong. Any other little pod plays that you sort of looked at?
Mate, we've just gone through a few. We're actually doing a Hail Mary Super Pod edition
That's
of the
true.
Late Show, and we've just covered off half of them. So we'll probably just like keep the rest of them for that show.
Yeah, sweet. So join us there tonight if we have gone through too many and we have got questions. So we'll work all that out. I will say I'm going to sneak one more in there so that you punch me. But you did, as we're going to get a coffee, you were guessing who I was going. And I'll tell you what, as a Dane Gagai owner, the Fletcher Sharp play is a very interesting one because Christ, they're getting some pill down there.
Save it for the Late Show.
Fine.
But yes,
Very interesting.
everything they do goes down the right edge. Watching last week as a Greg Marju owner, you mentioned you had him in draft as well. It was just like being knifed in the back over and over and over again.
I can't tell you, Tim, how much I need Greg Marju to pull his finger out of his ass this week for my draft season. Was he the player that had dropped the most?
Yeah.
Fuck, I need something this
I
weekend.
made a decision to play Marju over Garrick last week.
I love that for you. That's fantastic. Okay. Sit v starts. I, might have been pretty easy this week. I did have to have one pretty tough conversation with Simi Sasangi to let him know that he wouldn't be in the side for the 27th week in a row. But outside of that, mine are pretty straightforward. I don't really have any decisions to make. I got Wade Egan on the bye, AFB on the bye. Fafita injured. I think Simi Sasangi might be the only guy I'm actually leaving out of my side. What are you doing?
I have to sit one gun. And I just know that it's going to screw me over. But look, so be it. So
Can you let the public know exactly who that is? Because I'm going to get on them as an ATS this weekend.
I let the public know every week.
Yeah, but just this week, I really want emphasis on making sure it's out there public so that we can all load up.
It's a conversation, and I don't know, but I was tempted to sit what could possibly go wrong, Britton Nickera.
Oh, please do that.
I know.
Please do that.
So, get this. He's gone, the last 3 weeks, in the last 5-6 weeks, 51, 98, 74, 96, 44, 43. He does have low ones in him. I sat him for his highest of that period, which was the 98 against the Dragons. Played him again last week. Again, it was like a Nickera, it was sort of like Nickera, Marju and Garrick it came down to. I played him last week for his 51, but Rando had some really good stats around edge back rows going at Luke Brooks' edge for Manly, and they're going really well of late. So probably play him, but I can basically sit Greg Marju. It's pretty much Marju or Nickera. The rest of my players are better than all those guys. Because I don't have front rows to sit. I have to play Cherry Evans at halfback. He would be a sit option. But even there, with Tommy Turbo out, they're going at the slightly weaker edge of the Sharkies that Watenis Lesniak scored a hat-trick at. So I think Cherry Evans, Garrick and Olaquatu actually have decent matchups in this one. I'm not going to sit Munster. I'm not going to sit Brown. Val Holmes is the one that I could. I could sit Val Holmes or Marju or Nickera. Who's your one out of them three?
Probably Marju. I wouldn't be sitting Val, man. I just think he's got too high a ceiling. I know he's going up against that critter edge and whatnot, but
I am so certain that if I sit Marju, he's going to score a hat-trick and go 150.
Can you do me a personal favour?
You want me to sit him?
Can you please sit Marju or Nickera? Sit one of them.
For a
They're
bloke,
both in my draft team. I've asked very little of you throughout our entire friendship. I don't know if I've ever asked you for anything, to be completely honest with you. I come to you in a moment of need, asking you just to give a little bit of luck to my draft side.
a bloke who was hooking up with the trophy at the start of this show, now you're asking for a favour.
I'm just asking a friend for a favour in a time of need.
I don't really want to do anything for you, Roo, I'll be honest.
I will be honest with you. I think sitting Val Holmes is crazy.
So you would sit Marju?
I would 100% sit Marju.
Yeah.
Sitting Val Holmes, I think you're just asking for trouble.
I'm asking for trouble whoever I sit out of those three. They're going big. I want someone else to get ruled out injured so I don't have to make this decision. But anyway.
Big decisions to make. Kat, have you got any... How many trades you got left?
Just the one.
Shit.
Just the one.
We finally
Fuck
caught
did
up
that
to her.
happen? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I planned to have one for the last week.
That's fair. Yeah. What are you thinking of doing?
Well, I have Turbo, so I could do a little cheeky fullback change. I've also got David Fafita, though, so I could do something in the second row.
I asked her yesterday, do you have Sam Morgan? She goes, no. I was like, mate.
Of course.
The attitude.
Yeah.
What can I... Attitude knows attitude. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll wear that.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I have... but then I'm just not convinced... I'll probably end up just getting Ponga.
Yeah, okay. I would definitely be trading Turbo. I don't think you want to chase a second rower at this
No,
time.
I'm not too fast because I've got enough happening in there. I think I'm just going to do it.
Who else is in your back line?
I've got... So I have Lomax, Young, Garrick, Toto, Ramian, Savage, Tedesco, Turbo.
I'll tell you a name that we haven't spoken about at all.
Just gonna blow up our.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'll save
Why don't we
it.
save it for the late show?
Sorry, save it for the late show. Because I'll tell you what, it's spicy. So make sure you're there.
Good. See, now we've built up a bit of anticipation
Now
for the late show.
Yes.
I need to participate in the late show
Yeah.
because I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah. We'll leave it. What are you thinking of doing, Kate? KP?
I think it makes most sense to just shift Turbo to someone, and Ponga, should have a good game on Sunday. So I am leaning towards
I think you're buying the wrong fullback for Sunday.
maybe a bit of a Trey Fuller move. I don't know. I don't want to copy you. That's lame.
Especially, final trade.
We'll be the
final-
only two people with him. It'll be great.
That's actually kind of cool, to be fair.
I love it. I'm heaps into it. It's fun. It's fun. It's good fun.
All right, let's see.
All right. Captains this week. Ooh, what are you thinking, Timbo?
Look, I'll have to put the VC on Fa'alongo. And then C, you're not going to love this, I don't think, because you're tipping an upset, but I think James Tedesco.
I don't hate it, but I am tipping an upset. Interesting. I do think I actually don't mind it, Tim, because I think without Sam Walker,
He could do
someone's going to have to
everything.
take control,
Yeah.
and I think Teddy puts on his cape
Yeah.
and kind of stagnates them a little bit, but
And-
he'll get through a lot of work.
And if he scores 450, I can catch you.
Yeah, if he scores 450, you'll get me. Maybe 550.
It'll be tight.
Although you did pull back 1 point last week. So.
I did.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm thinking, I really like the Trey Fuller captaincy
Just do it.
as the last player. I did it
Do
last
it.
week with Lomax. I went a pod, draft, and classic captain, and it came up good for me. I'm thinking Trey Fuller.
You'll also be at the game, final game of the regular season. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll just be me and Wayne cheering on Trey.
Yeah, and you're also an absolute sucker for content. So if he puts 150 on and you're at the game a sunny Sunday afternoon in Newcastle, you'll have a field day.
I will have a field day. Okay, I'm probably in on Trey Fuller. My VC that I'll be looking at, mate, I think I will be looking at Zachary Lomax against your Raiders. What are your
Makes sense.
thoughts?
Yeah, for sure.
Like it?
Mate, he put 110 on or something in a half a footy on the weekend.
Do you think the Raiders, an away game, Whitehead gone, Rapana gone, is there just not much to play for here?
Mate, I've given up on predicting the Raiders.
Yeah.
They got 40 on them, put on them consecutive weeks against Manly and the Cowboys. One of those was at home, and then they beat the Roosters and the Panthers. I don't know.
Who's the left winger for the Raiders? That's not Savage. Is it Hopper?
Hopper, yeah.
Okay, I'm all right with that. The only thing I don't like about Zach Lomax is, and I know it turned out okay with him last week, but I don't love Jack Bird at right centre. Doesn't love passing a football, Jack Bird. Is the only thing that I have concerns over.
Yeah. Who is it normally that's at right centre? It was Birdie. It was Birdie for the best part of the year, though.
Bird's only just come back into the side. He was out for a long time.
Yeah,
there.
but he was scoring really well when. So Bird played.
Was it Bird? I don't know if it was.
No, it was. He was right centre and Sully was left, and so he played the first 12 games of the year. Bird and Lomax in those games had two tons in there, bunch of 80s and 90s. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I get the logic for sure, but yeah.
So who was there in the other time? Was Fangai, was it? Must have jumped in there.
What,
Christ,
like after
after Bird.
Fenai.
You think I know this inside out. I was just so focused on Lomax. So Lomax, probably my VC, and I'm thinking Trey Fuller is the ultimate pod play. Captain, I'm going to be insufferable if Trey Fuller does well on Sunday afternoon. Brace yourself for that.
Something new.
Brace yourself, buddy.
So just prepare for the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think Jerome Hughes owners out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think if I was playing for a position that mattered this week or in a grand final or something, I'd get Hughes. I think he's the play.
Yeah.
And captain him.
Yeah,
Or vice
I
captain,
would be.
whatever.
I'd be going all in on Hughes as
Yep.
well. Steve will think I'm trying to put the jinx on him, which I'm not. I promise you. I reckon Hughesy goes 150 this week. I'm actually very confident Hughesy goes 150 this week.
50. That's huge.
I
think it'll be bloodbath too.
Those Broncos are fucking shot
Yeah.
to me.
Great.
Captaincies. Anyone jumping out at you?
potentially the Teddy move as well, but I'm going to wait and see depending on my trade.
Does Rando, you guys, any love for Dom Young this week? With Daniel Tupu out?
The issue is just a new half out there, Sandon. I don't know what sort of ball they're going to get out there. But yeah, for sure, he's coming off like God knows how, but back-to-back 30s, Dom Young. So it makes it hard to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it tough. But he's that sort of player that he can just go.
He's gone 31, 35, 128, 29. The 29, granted, was hamstring, but yeah, he could also be on.
It was a late hamstring,
Yeah.
though. It was like 75th minute or something.
Was
that the Dolphins game?
Wasn't that late?
Wasn't it?
He went...
It's definitely in the second half.
No. So he did it in round 22 in 48 minutes.
Okay.
And then he missed the last 10 minutes of the Eels game. I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's our thoughts for this week. Anything else, Timbo?
No, all good.
By the way, the Lomax v Manu matchup over the last few weeks, which I have not kept track of, I just thought about it. I've absolutely fucking given it to you in that.
I hadn't even considered that when Lomax put on his 100
he put
in the
on a big
second half.
score. Yeah. If he wouldn't have put on that 100, it would have been pretty close, but I reckon he's...
It's not done, but like, because... Let me... Yeah.
I reckon I would be 90 points ahead, is my guess. I reckon he just outscored you by like 20 or 30 the other weeks. Then what did Lomax...
Manu got 79, let's say 80 on the weekend. Lomax, 125,
45.
so that's 45.
I reckon I bet you
The
by
week
20.
before, he got 73, Lomax, and Manu didn't touch the ball and got 40.
Yeah, so it'd be out to
30.
about
Yeah.
70 or 80 or something. Hasn't been your year, Timbo.
Has not been my year.
What's I know we'll get to it over the next few weeks, but do you think this year you've just been unlucky? Have you taken learnings from this, or do you think it's just been one of
I've
those
taken
years?
lots of learnings. No, I haven't been unlucky, mate. We'll get to it all. I've got a lot to touch on in the reflection, but it's it's like I don't sit there and go I've had more injuries than other people or anything like that. Just missed a few here and there, a few bad captains, a few bad sit v starts. Missed a couple of key ones early on, but not unlucky, mate. Just a bad year.
Yeah, right. I think that mirror's going to start talking back at you soon. Love that. Okay, we have got the late show coming your way tonight, the very last late show of the year. So make sure you come and join us there. We'll have some fun. We're going to go through Super Potterellas, have a look at them, and we might sneak in a few questions there. We'll see how we're traveling because I've already ruined half the pods for you on this episode. So... shout out to me. Blue Whale's Property Discovery calls in the description, guys. Hit the link. Make sure you tell them that Blue Whale's Property sent you. Make sure you tell them that Beers and Breakevens sent you. And the boys will help you out there. The boys and girls over at Blue Whale's Property doing great things. We'll see you later tonight on The Late Show.